Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? See, Mike, thank you. Somebody's got some good juice today. Well, guys, as always, appreciate you guys taking the time to come out on these Mondays as we get ready to take on Washington State this weekend. But just in regards to Saturday night, first off, once again, thank you, Bronco Nation, for showing up, showing out. When we took that field Saturday night, I mean, it was evident. Bronco Nation was there, and this was told to me after the game, which I agree with. Bronco Nation just doesn't come to games; they are in the game, which are two very different situations. It was an awesome atmosphere, and we're going to need every single bit of that this weekend. Sold out game. I'm going to need the fans to come early, stay the whole time, be loud, and be everything that I know they're going to be. Shout out to JD, Cody, the whole department, because that is an amazing event for the community to come to. So fired up for this weekend. Proud of our guys finding a way to win on Saturday. A lot of guys did some, good things and kept growing because, like we've talked about a lot before, to me, regardless what a score is, the score is irrelevant to me. It's all about what do we learn, where are we growing to. And that's going to be my meetings with our guys this afternoon is, hey, from the game, what do we learn? Okay, these certain things on all three phases. Now, how are we going to get it fixed? Regardless what the score of the game was, you won or you lost, what do we learn? Where are we growing to? I'm going to be very specific in all three phases how we do that because the best teams keep getting better week in and week out. And then the message is going to be the same for our team. I mean, your best is enough. Your best is enough, but your best is required. As coaches, as players, we don't need to go try and do something different. We understand the challenge that's going to be waiting for us Saturday night on the blue, but our best is enough, but your best is required in everything you do. But from the game on Saturday, proud of how our guys took the field, came out, played, a lot to still clean up in all three phases. Some mistakes, some errors that we did that can't happen. We got to learn and grow from that. We got to coach it better. We got to make sure our players understand the plan and execute it. Some guys of note, obviously, we talked about Matt Lauder after the game, a guy that I consistently said is blocking his tail off, not getting the production, and got the production on Saturday. And that's usually how it works. When you got a guy that's all about the team, doing everything he's supposed to do week in and week out, their time's coming. And I'm a firm believer, you get what you deserve in the long run. And Matt Lauder's starting to get that, and it's only going to grow. Another shout out to really, our front seven on defense has done some good things through 3 weeks. I'm proud they still got a lot of meat on the bone, a lot of missed sacks on Saturday night. And we obviously understand the quarterback we're going to see this weekend is, one of the most explosive athletes we've seen all year. So we got to improve, making sure we get the quarterback done in the pocket. But I'm proud of our front seven on defense. I mean, Sheldon Newton continues to be a guy that shows up, is a great teammate, works his tail off, and the production is starting to really show up. We were able to play a lot of guys on Saturday, which is huge for the depth of our team. We're a developmental program, getting guys in there, cutting their teeth. So now we've got game reps to coach them on. If it's special teams, if it's offense, if it's defense. I mean, Dylan Riley was on scout team, a week ago. And he's the Mountain West Player of the Week, Mountain West Freshman Player of the Week. That's football. That's what you love about this game. When your opportunity calls, you better be ready when your number gets called. And he was, and there's a lot of guys that did some good things. And we still got a long way to go. We got to keep learning, got to keep growing. We played 3 games. And right now, and I told our team the same thing, Washington State's played 4 games. They had an extra day to prepare for us. We got to be on the hunt. We got to be on the chase right now. And that's a good place to be in my opinion, when you're on the hunt. So I'm excited where we're growing to. We got to keep doing that.
Questions? I think I saw this is like the second most expensive ticket behind Alabama, Georgia on the secondary market. Like, because so many people are trying to get tickets, it's already sold out. Like, just the awesome excitement level. I mean, when the team ran out for Portland State game, you would have thought it was already packed. I mean, just seeing this increased excitement and I guess leading into this game Saturday with some Wazoo alums that live in the area and stuff. Just how exciting is it, I guess, for Saturday?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal for the community and for our players, for our staff. I mean, that's why you come to Boise State, for opportunities like this. To be able to play in front of Bronco Nation, a fan base that is unmatched, #1 fan base in the country, to be able to take the field in front of a community that loves their team. They're not just going there because, this is what I do. I mean, there's generations of fans and supporters that have been coming here for years, and to be able to go take the field on this past Saturday and this coming Saturday, it's a huge deal for our team, our fan. There's some new coaches on our staff that the first time obviously playing a home game was on Saturday, and talk with them after. It's everything you think. And even for me, I've taken the blue a lot for home games. It was a special moment, taking the field with our team for the 2024 campaign. looking at it, prior to the season, having the last FBS team to have a home game, I think the longer we waited even made the anticipation even more. But so proud of even the administration, the staff, JD, Cody, putting together all our external team. I mean, it was an amazing event. There were some things that happened that guys would ask me, I'm like, I wasn't thinking about that. I was probably chasing a player down to get something fixed in one of these timeouts, but I just heard that it was an amazing event for fans, for supporters. And we're going to, once again, need Bronco Nation in a major way this Saturday night. But that's the phenomenal place about Boise State. You come here to play in these games. You come here to find a way to win these games. I mean, that's why you come to Boise State. That's how this place was built on, was a blue-collar team that found a way to outwork people week in and week out. And we got to continue to do that.
Spencer, being ranked, is it ho-hum upstairs in the office or just another step in the process? Or how do you process
it's another step in the process, Mike. I saw it. Cool. We got to keep learning and growing. We played 3 games. And that's what I'm going to tell our team. There's a lot of pub about this game, and I get it. That's the reality of it. Huge game, college football playoff, top 25, blah, 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 blah. It means nothing. We got to keep learning and growing. We have a huge opponent. This is the biggest game of our season because it's the next game. It's the biggest game of our season because it's the next game. And that's what our focus is. It's all about the process for me. It's all about what do we learn, where are we growing to. Being ranked, who we're playing, we don't focus on those things. It's how do we continue to be our best every single day because it's required.
Washington State's a team, that you guys about to become a conference rival for you guys. It's one of the closest geographic schools to you, FBS wise. What's it going to mean for you to have a regional rivalry like this?
It's going to be huge. I mean, having a regional rival, like I've talked about before, I believe that every team we play at Boise State is a rival because we know we're going to get their absolute best. But I think the world of Washington State, I know a bunch of their coaches, obviously, Jeff Schmedding, Frank Miley, we coached together for a long time, 2 of the best coaches I know, but also 2 of some of the best men that I know too. So I know they're going to be very well coached coming in here on all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. And so we got to be ready for the challenge. But I think very highly of their staff, their players, who they recruit. We recruit a similar type kid, that blue-collar kid that loves football, and we know that's what we're going to see Saturday night. So it's going to be awesome for the future. We got to focus on the here and now, and right now they're our next game, and we got to be ready.
Just while talking about coaches or whatever, have you ever met Jake Dickert, and have you seen any similarities with your guys' approach? I know you have your differences, but he is very about loving his players and the passion as well. So have you ever met him, and what do you think of his approach?
Yeah, I've met Jake Dickert a couple times. We've talked on the phone. I think the world of Jake Dickert. I mean, he's done a great job at Wazoo. I loved what he did even defensively when he was a defensive coordinator. We talked a lot about defense prior to. We've talked about different head coaching things over the years. Whenever you even talking with Coach Schmedding and Frank and some of these guys, when you're about to step into an off season when you're going to play each other, it's almost like a joke of like, man, we used to talk a lot of ball, or used to talk about some things, but we can't after we play each other. But like I said, I make no bones about it. I mean, they got a great staff. I mean, Coach Dicker's done a great job putting that staff together. I know he coaches those players hard, but he loves them even harder, which I'm a firm believer in. And I know he's got the staff on O&D that are going to create a lot of issues for us, and we got to be ready. But it's going to be awesome to see those guys. I'm going to see them pregame, give them hugs, love them up, because I do think very highly of them, not only just as coaches, but how they treat the players, how they do this the right way. And I believe in what they do. Now, for us, we know the challenge that's waiting for us. But I believe in our staff. I believe we have the best staff in the country. And we got to go earn the right to go win on Saturday, just like they're going to try to do. And our best is enough, but from every person in our building, your best is required in everything you do. And that's my message that I say to the media, the same message I tell our players. It's not on Saturday night. Anybody's going to be motivated when they run out of that tunnel and they see Bronco Nation cheering. That's easy. That doesn't make you an elite competitor that you want to play that game. How is our team going to do in the Monday night walkthrough tonight? That's when I need your best. I'm going to let them cut it loose on Saturday night. Let's go have fun, because the work's done. But we got to earn the right with our work and what we do and everything through the whole week. So that's going to be the challenge.
With John Mateer, how would you rank his playmaker, status as a playmaker, and then how much of what he does comes off script or improvising, I guess?
Yeah, first off, offensively, what they do offensively puts you in a lot of conflict. They use every 53 1/3 of the field. They've got explosive receivers all over the place. They got a really good O-line. But John Mateer makes that whole thing go. He's about 220 pounds. He's one of the fastest players on the field, regardless of what position they play. He's a matchup issue. He makes all the throws. Done a lot of research on him the past really 24 hours, and even during the bye week did some research on him. And he just seems like a guy that you'd love to play with. A blue collar, captain, a guy that's going to find a way to will his team to win. And he will run. They will do design runs. They'll do some runs, to your point, Joe, that the pocket breaks down and he's out in the open field, which is also a nightmare. So I think very highly of Jeanty. I love his mentality. I love a quarterback that's going to find a way to make plays, even if the play breaks down. That's him. He's going to be an absolute, he's a pivotal part of not only their offense, he's a pivotal part of their whole team. He can put the team on their back. Obviously, what they did to even finish the San Jose State game and go win, what he did at Washington. They're undefeated for a reason. They played some really good opponents. They're undefeated for a reason. They're coming in here hot. They're well coached. They got really good players. We got a huge challenge coming to the Blue on Saturday night.
Dylan Riley, he was the guy that you guys kept talking about, but he was just so far behind the other guys in terms of not having a role. And now to see what he did in the game, and not sure if you can touch on Sire, but just do you expect Dylan to be a part of things moving forward here? Yeah,
Dylan earned the right. What did he put on film? A week ago on Monday nights we do a developmental scrimmage, and he was scoring touchdowns in the developmental scrimmage. And then the week prior, he was looking at a scout card and seeing how he was able to learn, grow, develop. And when we win the game, I don't have his stats off the top of my head, but 6 carries for almost 100 yards. You could see the kind of juice he has. He's a track kid, but a guy that's up here studying with Coach J-Mo all the time. Coach J-Mo does a great job with those RBs, and seeing him come on the scene and go. He's gonna get his time now because he's earned it. He's deserved the right to get more reps. We'll see what happens with Cy. Our doctors looked at it Sunday, and we're gonna go through this week in practice, see how he feels, and make a game time decision.
Pass pro Dylan Riley, if he does get in that situation, where's the confidence there? I know sometimes freshmen, certainly true freshmen, who didn't show up in January, might have a longer way to go in terms of pass.
Yeah, pass protection. Especially we do a lot of different protections, but I know he's been meeting with Coach J-Mo on it. Even when he was on scout team, even when he was not involved in the game plan, it was helping him learn and grow in some of these protections and the schematics we use offensively. So he's going to have to do a great job this week in how he performs in practice with some of these things, Johnny. But knowing him as a kid, he's going to do that.
You touched a little bit of it on Saturday, but Tyler Crowe, obviously first touchdown since 2021. He's the past few years he's been the team guy, wanting to do whatever the team needs him to do. So to get him that opportunity, what's that mean for you, and what's that say about kind of the role he's played for you guys?
Yeah, Tyler Crowe as a senior, a local kid how he leads himself and how he helps lead his teammates with his actions, how he works. Through all winter conditioning, spring ball, summer training, he's a guy that absolutely works his tail off. And so he's earned the trust and respect of his teammates because of his actions. And so when you see him go score that touchdown Saturday night, our sideline erupted because they see him put all the work in. They see him do all the things our team needs to do, and seeing him get that moment was awesome. And he's a guy that does a lot for us on special teams, and we need him to continue to grow in his role in special teams because we need it. We need to take a big step in special teams this week.
To catch a pass from Max. I know they both went to Skyview. I'm not sure if they went to Skyview at the same time, but just how cool of a moment was that?
Yeah, I think Tyler Crowe's 5 years older than Max or something like that. Yeah. Might be off on that, but I think they're different situations. But it was awesome. We were to play a lot of guys on Saturday night, which is huge, not just so that guys get in there and can run around and get reps. We are a developmental program. We need to get guys out there, get game reps, because we're going to use those to coach every player on our team, but especially some of our young guys that hadn't got a lot of reps prior to this point.
Back to Washington State, looks like they've got a number of receivers that are really, really good. What's the challenge of defending somebody that has 4 receivers that they can put out there to all look good?
Yeah, speaking to Washington State offense, they're one of the top 5 offenses in the country for a reason. Undefeated. They put up tons of yards, tons of points on everybody they played. They played some good defenses too. And they've got weapons all over the place. Schematically, they put you in a lot of conflict, a lot of different RPOs, a lot of different looks. And once again, the guy that makes it all go is Jeanty. Number 10 is where that whole thing runs through. He does a great job with his reads. He understands what a defense is showing him pre-snap and post-snap. And if it's not there, the biggest play you got to defend is him also taking off. But he's got weapons all over the place. He can step up in the pocket, make a guy miss, be on the run, and throw an absolute dart to the far hash, which is very uncommon. And, he's extremely talented, and he's a big-time leader for their team, so we got our work cut out for us.
Going back to just how Sire was tackled on that play, should that have been a personal foul for kind of like that, almost that dead body weight type of tackle? And then kind of seen later on Ashton's last carry, that same guy almost put him in a very similar position if Ashton didn't sit far. I don't know if coincidentally that was Ashton's last carry too. But
Yeah, it's a tackle that is a penalty in the NFL. It's not a penalty in college. So horse collar, you have to be pulled backwards for it to be called a personal foul. That particular tackle, some people have heard it called the hip tuck or whatever it's going to be called. It's not illegal in college. It puts the ball carriers in some, very bad situations. So we'll see what happens in regards to the ruling. But right now, it's not a penalty. But it does put the players in a bad situation.
Coach, what do you see of your offense after 3 games? As you look at the big picture of you had high hopes and confidence coming into this season, but it's top 5, top 10 in many categories. So just your overall look at this offense.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Cutter and our offensive staff, they do a great job. And I believe, without question, we have the best staff in the country. Not only who they are as football minds, putting our players in schematic advantages, but how they love these kids, hold them to high standards. I mean, if you guys see what I see, the amount of meetings from academics to life outside of football to the one-on-ones, checking in on, this is a staff that loves their players. I mean, and that's a non-negotiable for me. To come here, you got to love your players, and that's an action. That's sacrifice. It's also telling these young men the truth, what they're screwing up, what they need to grow in. And you can see that connection from, just speaking about our offense right now, they've been extremely explosive. We are going to run the football. I believe in that being the mentality of our team. We're going to line up and we want to enforce our run game on a defense. And then you can see the explosive passes we can get once you establish that run game. Starts with our offensive line. Yeah, some guys are banged up. Hopefully we get some of those guys back. But whoever's up, that's the standard which we play offensively. We got a lot of weapons. And Coach Cutter's done a great job moving the wealth around, getting guys different looks, the ball in different situations. And Maddox Madsen's played really well. He did a really good job on Saturday. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's going to keep growing, but he's an elite competitor. He preps the way he needs to play successfully every single day. And he's only going to continue to get better, and he did some really good things on Saturday night. But very proud of our offense. There's still a lot of meat on the bone, and I know that's what I love about Coach Cutter and our staff is they're focused on what we need to grow in, not look at all the amazing things we've done. Yeah, that's good. We can build on that, but where are we growing to, and not sitting around after 3 games patting ourselves on the back. Because the more you do that, and I'm a firm believer, the more you pat yourself on the back or get pat on the back, that chip on your shoulder starts to get knocked off, and that's what can happen.
Randolph and Carry On and Caples, you expected to see any of them on Saturday?
Right now, we're going to keep working through it, Mike.
All 3 of them?
Yep. Going to keep working through it. Our trainer's doing a really good job. We're going to keep working through it.
Madsen to Camper. This is 3 weeks in a row. I don't think it's a coincidence anymore. Madsen's told us he picks him up every day in the building. What have you seen between the connection between that particular quarterback and that particular receiver? Because it looks like we're seeing it every Saturday.
First off, just talking about Cam Camper, Johnny, a guy like we've talked about before, missed all spring ball due to injury, missed really the majority of summer training because still rehabbing from the injury. Really comes on the scene in fall camp. All right, Cam Camper, what do we got? And a guy that, since he's been here, has been early to everything, lives in the training room, does everything we need him in the weight room, was just in the film room when I walked down these stairs. So that's who Cam Camper is. So some of the stuff he's doing now is not shocking for the staff because we've seen him continually work to grow and develop. And Maddox saw it too. And he's a guy that on their own time in the summer would come find me and say, Coach, I'm throwing the ball a little bit this afternoon with Cam Camper. He looks really good. I haven't seen him catch a ball to this point. But Maddox is with him saying, man, Cam Camper's done some really good things. And so as he continues to come on the scene, that is earned through the work that he's put in with Maddox, and they've got a really good connection.
On Sheldon Newton's sack, have you seen a more dominant single rep by any of your players this year?
I'm going to have to probably say no to that, Jay. It is an absolute war daddy play by Sheldon Newton, and I can't be more happier for him. Reason I can't be more happier for him was, one, it's a big play, 3rd down sack, awesome. Bull rush worked perfectly. Just looking at who Sheldon is now to when he got to Boise State, his development in all phases, he deserves all of it. He deserves all of it. And that's why he asked me, and I've talked to him, he asked to be jersey number 9 last year. I said, nope, you got to go earn it. You got to go earn it. And he did. He didn't, oh, well, I wish. No. He's a guy that gets coached hard, and earns all the credit he's getting. He earns it. He's going to earn it this week in practice. It's who he is. How he got his body to where it is now. And he's going to be continue to be a matchup issue for offensive lines because he earns it every single day. But it was an impressive clip. I'll be showing the guys that tonight, I promise you that.
That was one of the offseason storylines, like getting more pressure on the quarterback. And you guys are tied, for first in the nation with 4 sacks a game. How have you felt, in terms of the pressure you guys are getting? Yeah,
Coach Chins, Coach Frazier, working through the pressure package every week. They've done a great job. But more importantly, it's a testament to our players. Really, buying into what we're going to do, buying into the fact that, hey, to play good defense, you have to pressure and confuse these quarterbacks. John Mateer this weekend is going to be no different. If we let him sit back and have all day to throw, we got to have a lot of switch-ups from drop 8 to pressure to different looks to throw them off. But we got to find a way to create some pressure on these quarterbacks. And our front seven's done a really good job. Now we got a lot more meat on the bone. We missed a bunch of sacks on Saturday, just missing tackles. We know it's going to be even harder against John Mateer this weekend, so we got to grow in that. But proud of where we're at right now. And pressure and confuse the quarterback's huge. Now we still got a lot of things we got to clean up from a coverage aspect. And we can. We've got the guys to do it. We've got a great staff. And so there's a lot of things when you leave a game that, yes, maybe it went okay in a game because the quarterback was sacked, but there was an open receiver. That's a bust in communication. That's a bust in coverage, or vice versa. Hey, coverage really good, but this pressure pattern's off or this rush is off, so that's why the quarterback gets out. So that's a beautiful part of defense. It's got to be 11 guys working together. It's the front and the back end working together. And so the sacks we're getting, yes, is a testament to the guys rushing, but on those sacks, more times than not, there's nowhere to go with the ball too, which is huge.
Along those lines, how nice is it to get from so many different people? I think Andrew has 1 or 2. I think Ahmed has 2, but I think no one else on the team has more than 1. So you guys are spreading those sacks around.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful. When you create a blitz pattern or a pressure, could be from a 3-man rush, 4-man rush, 5-man rush, 6-man rush. You don't know who's going to be the one that's going to win their one-on-one and go get it. And so it's cool to see a lot of different guys involved in the stats.
2 drives, 2 touchdowns. How did he grade out? More importantly, how psychologically uplifting is that for a guy who hasn't played football in 22 months?
Yeah, it was huge to get Malachi in the game, get him some reps. Obviously, just like anything, there's some things he did good. There's some throws, some decisions he made that we need him to grow in. But it's the only way to learn is to continue to get reps from practice that you earned. But then when we can get our players in these games, especially Malachi, he hasn't played in a game in a while, getting him out there, having him feel what it feels like to get calls from the sideline, coach to player communication when everything's going on. He did some really good things. Some things that I know he needs to continue to grow in, a couple throws, a couple decisions, but he did some good stuff. It was huge to get him out there and get those reps, Mike.
On kickoff, it looks like you guys tried something new, a few squib kicks, some new personnel. What do you guys think of how you guys handled kickoff? And then does Marco Notriani, kind of provide for you on special teams?
Yeah, first off, Marco, and not to jump ahead, but Marco is going to be the special teams player of the week for us, and he deserves it. This is a guy that's a starter on defense, and what happened in Oregon, we had to learn a lot from, right? Every game is what did you learn, where you're growing to. The 2 explosive returns we had on versus our punt team and our kickoff team hurt us, and we got to learn and grow from that. We had guys right there to make tackles and didn't. That's a problem. And Marco stepped up and said, put me on those teams. Put me on those teams. Let me be the guy that goes down there and does it. And he did. And so I'm going to use that as a testament for our team. Is that's a Boise State football player. Not pointing the finger. It's easy to find problems. Anybody can look at our team and find the problems. Who's the problem solvers? Who's the guys like, enough of that. Help, call on me. Let me do it. And that's Marco. And so proud of him, but especially in our cover phases, in our kickoff and our punt, we're improving, but we got to be better. We got to be better from a specialist standpoint too. James did a couple crazy things on Saturday that worked out, but he's got to be better. He knows that. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got to be better. He knows that. We got to find a way to continue to work to kick the ball 8 yards deep in the end zone. Taryn can. Now we got to be able to do it consistently. Then when the ball gets taken out from a kickoff standpoint, we've got to keep leverage and we got to make sure everybody does their job. And that right now is too inconsistent. We got to be more consistent on both of our cover units. And right now that's where we're at from a special team standpoint. We got to find a way to change the game in our favor on special teams, not let it be changed in a negative way. And like I said, Coach Collins does a phenomenal job. We all got to be better. Me, our team, and we got to have guys step up that maybe to this point haven't had a huge role in special teams. They're going to need to going forward. And so we constantly are looking at our special teams depth chart to see, are we putting everybody in the situation they need to? Because we need guys to go out there that can make plays, not just be a number.
Another guy that could probably be overlooked. Troy Wilkie, I think he committed here as a walk-on DB, and then he went to running back, and then he was playing wide receiver, and now he's apparently maybe back at running back for the time being. Special teams guy, you called Marco a problem solver. How much does that look to do the problem solver for you?
Yeah, Troy Wilkie's doing some really good things. I mean, and we're going to need him to continue to work, to keep growing in how he plays special teams, because he can do it. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the skill set, and he's got the want to. He's got the drive. And, I mean, he's going to be a really good asset for us on punt return. I mean, he can go work to block kicks. He can do a great job in hold up. We're going to try and find a way to get him even on more. And that's a testament to a lot of our players. We've got guys that want to play more. We've guys that want to play more on special teams. They have to perform in practice. And so even tonight, we're going to do some more, like I talked about, some special teams competitions. Okay, you think you can run down on kickoff? Here's a one-on-one kickoff drill. Get off that block. Film doesn't lie. Don't be angry that you're not playing. Put it on film tonight. And we got to do that with every single phase, OD special teams, because for me, everything is earned, and it's earned in practice. Not because, trust me, coach, I did it in high school. Trust me, I did it. Do it in practice. And that's what we need to do across all 4 phases of special teams and on O&D. And that's the message always to my team is that.
What would a guy like Bates do to earn that opportunity?
Yeah, perform in practice. And a guy that since he came here, came in June. We had a lot of freshmen early enrollee. Him and Dylan Riley didn't. They came here in June and kept working, kept getting better, even going through our whole freshman bridge program. Handled it the right way, handled his class the right way, learned the offense. And he's a matchup issue now. I mean, Cam Bates, one of the fastest guys in the entire field, regardless who we're playing, and his role is going to continue to increase.
How good does your vision have to be to make the cut he made across the field like that?
It's got to be pretty big time. I mean, I know from my vantage point in the game, I'm like, don't cut back. Yes, I'm glad you cut back. Great job. We taught him that. No, this is just – he's one of those guys that with the ball in his hand, he's got great feel. He understands how defenses are trying to cut him off, and his role is going to continue to increase because of it.
With Ash, I know we talked to you a little bit about it after the game, but I mean, knowing, I guess maybe the best way to say it is kind of calibrate his workload. In the fourth quarter, you guys got up at Georgia Southern, you were able to go to Zaire. Mm-hmm. Against Oregon, dude was on the field for 90% of your offensive snaps,
yep.
And then takes all the entire second half off. How much of a luxury is that and to pay attention to taking a little wear off him if you can.
Yeah, I mean with Ashton, more than just who he is as a running back for our team, and obviously one of, if not the best player in the country, he is such a huge leader on our team. Undoubted the leader of our team. And we got a lot of guys that are leaders on our team. He's the alpha on our team. That's earned. That's earned in how he works. He gets a lot of praise from the media, a lot of praise from outside sources. But he's also one of the first guys here in the building. He's one of the last ones to leave. So the stuff that he gets from our team leadership-wise is earned in how hard he practices. So in games, who he is in regards to being a matchup issue for defenses, he's always a point of communication. I always know going into a game, what's it look like? Depending how a game goes, what's it going to look like, so that we're proactive and not getting into any game trying to figure out it in game. So we went into every single game knowing, hey, regardless how this goes, this is kind of what we're thinking for Ash, and this is going to be a situation where we'll pull him out. But he's also our guy. I mean, he's our war daddy. I mean, we're going to keep feeding Ash and Jeanty because he's a matchup issue for defenses, and he's the leader of our team. I mean, and that's what it is.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Guys, just to let you know.